Hello, guys. How are you today? I hope all is well with you and your families. I am doing great, thank God. So I was recently in this heated conversation, guys. I mean, heated conversation with my girlfriends, and this is not the first time, though, I have been in a conversation like this. I don't know how many times I have been in this conversation, guys. It goes like this. So you're telling me you've been married for this long to an African man? How do you do it? Because I heard that African men not romantic, they are violent, they are controlling, they are possessive, they are women beaters. The list goes on and on and on. Or the conversation will go like this. Well, I have dated several African men from different African countries, and they are all the same. They are very unromantic. Yeah. So it's just in that box. They are unromantic. What do you think, guys? Do you think that's a fact? Is that a fallacy? Or is that just a speculation? What do you think? Drop a comment. I want to know what you think. Are African men not romantic at all? All of them? Or is it just a group of them, a number of them? Is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Or nobody knows really? It's just a... So for me, guys, I just think it's just a speculation. It's like how people say, oh, black people are lazy, or white people are racist, Asians are smart. It's like I think our own experience, we tend to group people according to our own experience that we have received in the past, I think. Because I don't think it's fair when you say, oh, all black people are lazy. How do you know? How about the ones that are working day in, day out, day in, night out, whatever you call it? Then what? All white people are racist. How about those who are not racist? And things like that. So when we say all African men are not romantic, what about that group that is romantic? So I don't know. I just think really, well, let's define romance for a bit. What is romance? Because I think romance, it has to be defined for you to say, yeah, they are not romantic. Because who say they are not romantic? Maybe they are defining the romance in a different way. Who knows, right? Well, if you ask me, but let me go back. If you had asked me this question, I would say 15 years ago or 20 years ago, I might be in that group of women that will say, yes, definitely, African men are not romantic. So it depends who you are asking, really. Who are you asking the question to? I think, to be fair, to make this subject to just be buried, I think somebody needs to go door to door in every African household and ask the wives whether their husband is a romantic man or not. And then once we have a fact, like if we have a percentage that we can go by, then we can let this die down. Maybe we'll be shocked. Maybe it's just 80%. Maybe it's 80% that are romantic and 20% that are not. Or maybe it's 50-50. Who knows? But we need facts, guys, so this subject can die and don't talk about it, because yeah, it rubs many people in the wrong way. But now, to that African man now that did not grow up in an environment where they see this type 21st type century love or this Western kind of love, if they grew up not seeing that, their love, their romance is more like paying bills, taking care of you and the kids. You don't have to pay any bill. They will take care of it. Whether you're working, they will say, you know what, I'm going to take care of all the bills in the house. That's romance to them. I'm going to make sure you have food on your table. You will eat good. You have meat. You have vegetables. You have fruits. You have water to drink, you know, and the little extra stuff here and then. That's romance. And with that kind of man, if you don't tell them your specific needs, your love language, if you don't air it out there, they think you are satisfied. So they wouldn't know. They would just think you're satisfied. They are making you happy and that's it. So if you have that type of an African man that just think that their romance is in paying bills, taking care of you, and you want more, maybe you want him to open the door, or you want him not to walk in front of you, or you want him to give you compliments, or you want him to be more touchy, loving, more kissy, or whatever it is that you want from your husband, then you have to communicate that with him. Because if you don't, they'll just think you are satisfied with what they are giving you. I'm just sharing so that somebody can learn from my mistakes earlier on. You know what I mean? Because if you get into it and you expect for your husband and your African husband to know these things, then you are mistaken. You have to open up. And don't think it might work the first time. No, it's not like first time is a charm. No, maybe it's 100 times is a charm. Or maybe you doing it, you showing it that, you know what, that's what I like. They will eventually get it and they start doing it if you really care for those things. With some African men, not all African men, I'm talking about some African men. With some African men, their romance or love language might go like this. Let's say you are looking nice, you're dressed up, you're looking nice, hair is done, makeup is done nicely and all that. This will be their love language or their romantic way of saying you look nice. God is good. Huh? So this is where my money is going. Huh? You look good, my wife. You are. Some women will call you blessed. You are blessed among women. God is awesome. Huh? Look at yourself. Looking good, smelling good. Hair is done. You have your makeup. You are looking fit. I'm feeding you here. That's the kind of way. That's the kind of way that an African man will tell you are looking good. So you have to know your man. You have to know your husband. Know how they talk. If that's how if that's the best way they can tell you you're looking good or you look nice, then you have to learn to take that as, oh yeah, so I'm looking good. You know, learn their language. How do they define their romance? You have to learn how they are defining what is romance, what is romantic or whatever. Once you know that, hey, you save yourself from suffering and pain. And arguments upon arguments. Once you learn how your husband is or wife, vice versa, then you're gonna save yourself from suffering. You know, like for me, for an instance, like with my past, my husband had to learn that I'm not a touchy person, and he had to realize why. Once he knew why, he worked with me, because at the end of the day, once you're in this marriage, you have to understand that this marriage, really, your spouse is your master teacher. It becomes a master class. You are teaching your husband something, he is teaching you something, and if you just both work together and you are willing to learn from each other, then hey, you'll be a masterpiece. God willing, you'll be a masterpiece. So really, you know that really, for me personally, I've learned that my husband became my master teacher. He was the one used by God to deliver me from so many bondage, or let's say strongholds that I was in, that I was put in, that I put myself in. So he became my teacher, like he became my whatever you want to call it. He became that. Whatever I was missing, he became that. But because also I was also hungry to be healed, it became easier for me. So you have to really understand your spouse and allow him to get you to whatever point you want, or also you can be the teacher. Teach him what you want, and if he's teachable, you get there little and slowly but surely. So if someone asked me this question 20 years ago, I would have given you the answer that you wanted to hear, really. Like, yes, African men are not romantic at all. That would have been my answer, because back then, for me, romance was defined by the soaps that I watched, those Young and the Restless, Dynasty, Dallas. What did I watch? The novels that I read, because TV wasn't explicit like how it is now, that when you're watching a TV, you have to first really make sure this movie you're watching is appropriate around kids, because there was nothing like that. So romance for me, I saw it in those soap operas, the novels that I read, because I never saw it displayed with my parents or the people around me, the grown-ups around me. I never saw them hold hands, bring flowers, open the door, bring chocolates, things like that. That romantic, Western romantic kind of way thing, I never saw it. I never saw it, because also I think it has to do with the culture. So really, I never saw it like that, but I had a picture in my head of what I was reading in the novels that I was reading. So that's what I called romance. I saw it on those soap operas, and that's what I wanted from my so-called husband to come. I would vision that romance to be the ideal romance, So yeah, it just depends how you define it in the moment or in time that you are in. So that time it will be different, but this time, if you ask me what is romance, I'll give you a different definition. Romance to me, there has to be consistency. Don't love me 1 minute because you're in a mood, and then the other minute you're dissing me off. It has to be consistent. Be the same throughout, whether you want something or you don't want something. It has to be consistent. You have to be present. You have to be present. Don't give me roses. Like, for me, I don't care about the roses, the chocolates, whatever things. I don't care about things at all. I want your presence. Tell me, oh honey, not even honey, even the name calling, don't call me that. Nancy, I scheduled an off day on Monday. Make sure you're not working so that we can go out for a picnic. Even if we don't talk, we just look at the leaves or the birds, whatever. Oh, that is romance to me. Basically, romance to me, it's more like action. yeah, flowers and things like that to those who like it, it's really good. Because really, to be honest, if let's say there's guys listening, I don't think there's a woman out there that doesn't want to be shown affectionate, whether you have money, you don't have money. I don't think it's about that. It's just showing that affectionate. I think every woman wants to be shown that they are there. You see them, to show that you are there, you are present. I don't know. That's romance to me. Forget about, well, I'm not gonna say that because some people like the flowers, the things like that. But if you are present in that moment, you're giving it your all. To me, that's romance. You can beat that. Schedule a date. You schedule a date and say, you know what, Friday we are going out. We're just going out to eat somewhere, or we are just going out to the park. So it's more action to me. Let there be action. Let's see some with no money, because when you say action, maybe people would think, oh, you want them to bring you a outfit or something like that. No, let's just be present in the moment. Communication. Let's communicate. That's romance to me. I don't know. Yeah, that's romance to me right now. So I really believe that you can only attract what you give out. So if you give out love, that love will come back to you. The love that I give out is the love that I'll get back. So if you are not getting the kind of love you think you deserve, then you need to go deeper within yourself, search yourself, love you enough, and before you know it, that love starts coming back, because now you love yourself, you embrace yourself. That's what changed my life, because when I started loving me, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna seek that love from outside no more. I'm going to first love this girl here, because that's what I was failing. I didn't like myself. So when I turned this thing around by loving me, then it was easy to love my husband. It was easy to get that love back. So I think that's the starting point. Love you so much that it will be easy to love your spouse. The romance is not satisfying you enough, then open up to your spouse. Communicate. Talk to him or talk to her, and grow and learn together. Talk this thing out. You have to talk. You have to open up. I'm telling you, you have to open up to each other, depending on your relationship, of course, but you have to open up to each other and tell him or her your love language or something, and keep on saying it until you get that romance that you desire. And so my advice really is for those who went through a trauma, really, because that's the only thing I know, coming from that background where you guard yourself, you are not open enough, it's hard for you to trust, it's hard for you to open up, then you will go through so much pain and so much suffering if you don't open up. But once you open up, at least you start communicating your type of romance, what you like, what you don't like, what you're comfortable doing, what you're not comfortable doing, what is romantic to you and what is not. That's why it's very good to open up to your husband or to your wife, and make an effort. Really, you have to make an effort as a husband, because women are just affectionate human beings. That's how God created us. Like for me, even when I wanted to play hard, like, oh, I'm not touchy person, oh, I'm not this, deep down inside, that little girl wanted that affectionate, wanted to be loved, wanted to be hugged, wanted to be kissed, wanted to be embraced, wanted to be told you are beautiful, wanted to be told you are good. Deep down, I don't think there's any woman who doesn't want to be told those things. But then it also takes an effort of you, if coming from that hurting place, to open up and tell your spouse that, hey, you are lacking in this area and I need you to step up. Well, maybe it won't be heard the first year, the second year, the 5th year, but at the 10th year, if you wait patiently and you keep on saying it, eventually you would have already given up. Then they start saying those things that you want to hear. So I just think you start doing what you want your spouse to do for you. You start doing it. You set the dates night. That's what I started doing. I said, okay, well, this date is not coming early enough. What can I do? Let me set the date. Let me do the date. Like, let me tell him ahead of time, you know what, we are going out on this date. You get yourself, whatever you do, we are going out. It's just for an hour. Start with an hour, 2 hours. And when he sees that it's fun, he starts enjoying it, he starts setting up the dates himself, because he'll be enjoying it. So you do whatever makes you happy to him, and then he will do it to you, or vice versa. I think that's what it's supposed to be. So the question that all African men are not romantic, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I think it just depends with who you are asking and you yourself. What are you investing in that marriage? If romance is what you want, then invest in that area, and then you will reap those results back to you. You go and give your spouse that romance you want, and watch that romance come back to you. Just open up and give it, and it will come back to you. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and you have a blessed, wonderful week. I will see you in my next video. Bye.